You ever buy something you think you're gonna love only to open it up and realize it's not what you wanted at all? That's Mark of the Vampire, MGM's 1935 vampire thriller starring Bela Lugosi. That's right, Dracula himself back as a vampire. Fans were thrilled, studio execs were thrilled. But when audiences went to see it in theaters, what they got was not Dracula at all. Not even close. Sure, it was a vampire movie reuniting Tod Browning with Bela Lugosi, but the role, the story, the twist, everything about it went sideways. Let's dive into Mark of the Vampire, how it became one of the strangest almost Dracula reunions in Hollywood history, and how Bela Lugosi's second chance at vampire stardom turned into one of the most chaotic productions of the 1930s. I'm Antonia Carlotta, and this is Universally Me, the channel for all things Universal and classic horror. My family started Universal Studios, and they made the Universal monsters. They didn't make Mark of the Vampire, but they did make Dracula. So I'm pretty sure you can still thank my family for this movie. Before we get into the chaos, we need to go back a few years to right after Dracula and Freaks completely redefined Tod Browning's career in opposite ways. Dracula made him a star. Freaks almost ended his career. And because Hollywood loves irony, MGM, the fancy, polished studio known for glamour and prestige, decided Browning should try a comeback with a horror movie. But not too horror, not too offensive. Just spooky enough to ride the Universal monster wave that had started with Dracula and Frankenstein. And who better for a studio-approved spooky comeback than Bela Lugosi? Ever since Dracula, Bela had been typecast as a horror villain. Universal in particular had cast him in Murders in the Rue Morgue, The Black Cat, and The Raven. Audiences saw him and instantly thought evil. They thought vampire. So when MGM announced a vampire movie starring Bela Lugosi, the press treated it like the sequel Universal never made. Dracula 2: Electric Boogaloo. But there was one little problem. This movie wasn't a Dracula sequel, nor a Dracula remake, and Bela Lugosi wasn't even the star. He wasn't even a character with dialogue. Mark of the Vampire had nothing to do with Dracula. It just happened to be a vampire movie, sort of. If it's a remake of anything, it's Tod Browning's 1927 silent film, London After Midnight. And if you've seen my videos before, hi, welcome, you already know this. London After Midnight is one of the most sought-after lost films in all of film history. Starring Lon Chaney in creepy makeup and a spooky top hat, the movie literally burned in a vault fire and was never seen again. So MGM's 1935 plan was to take Tod Browning's vampire hit, replace Lon Chaney with Bela Lugosi, because Lon Chaney died, give the story a talkie update, and print money. Easy, right? Except London After Midnight had a twist silent era audiences loved, but sound era audiences did not appreciate. Spoiler alert, Bela Lugosi's new vampire role, his new Dracula, he is revealed not to be a vampire at all. There was a lot more not to love about his role in Mark of the Vampire. On paper, he was the headline name. He was the poster. He was the box office draw. In a lot of the marketing, he's featured more prominently than Lionel Barrymore, Lionel Atwill, Elizabeth Allen, or anyone else in the film. Even when Lionel Barrymore gets first billing, it's Bela's face you see. But in the movie, he has almost no lines. It can feel like a blink and you'll miss it type of role. And it can really feel like a Dracula ripoff at times, especially when he descends the stairs and we cut to bats and spiders in the castle. Dare I say Tod Browning phoned it in here? I'm sure the twist of not actually being vampires played into it a little bit, at least in the way that it was filmed. But Carroll Borland, who played Bela Lugosi's female counterpart in the film, said that they didn't know while they were filming that they were supposed to be actors playing vampires. That information was withheld from them so that it didn't impact their performance. But the downside of knowing that is that, well, now their performances just weren't very dynamic for no good reason. I will give Carroll Borland her due though. She got quite the cult following from this film, and her influence in this role can't be overstated. Vampira, Elvira, Lily Munster, all descendants of Borland's vampire. Borland had previously worked with Bela Lugosi in a stage production of Dracula, and I think knowing his physicality and using that in her audition helped her to win the role, even without saying the two of them had worked together. Her wide eyes are mesmerizing, yet somehow empty at the same time. And for me, they come off too empty, even for playing someone supposedly undead. If you know Hollywood, you know most messy movies are a result of messy production, and Mark of the Vampire is no exception. Film censorship definitely had an impact on the film. Storylines that hinted at incest were cut, some sort of death, whether self-inflicted or not, was erased, and I think that explains the blood splatter on Bela Lugosi's temple. Not only was it originally too dark, but apparently it was also trying to be too funny. So the runtime kept shrinking too, as comedic scenes involving the maid were cut, also some scenes of exposition. And watching the movie today, it can definitely feel like some scenes are missing. The film can feel a little disjointed at times. The story definitely feels a little silly. And that ending wasn't a hit then, and it's not a hit today. In the silent era, those endings were expected. The Cat and the Canary, The Last Warning, even London After Midnight itself had the Scooby-Doo ending where all the mysterious hauntings are explained away as a person messing with everyone. But once Dracula and the rest of the Universal monsters hit the scene, those kinds of endings became kind of passé. And with that ending, in like 30 seconds, that dark, mysterious, eerie world that Tod Browning created, it was instantly destroyed. It's kind of like if at the end of The Sixth Sense, they were like, just kidding, everyone's alive, and all those ghosts you saw were just actors. I don't know, maybe it would have gone over better if they weren't trying to pretend it was going to be Dracula 2. So if I'm so hard on Mark of the Vampire, why even make a video about it? Well, it still matters, and you guys ask me about it a lot, and it has a strong cult following. Fans, filmmakers, and researchers keep coming back to it. And I would guess that about 20% of the time when someone thinks they're posting a picture of Bela Lugosi as Dracula, they're actually posting a picture of him as Count Mora. It's pretty amazing to see Tod Browning and Bela Lugosi paired up again. And Lugosi as a vampire is fun to watch no matter what. Mark of the Vampire has great atmosphere at times, and there is a lot of fun to it. And of course, it's pretty much a cousin of the Universal monster movies that I know and love so much. In the comments, I want to hear if you think I'm right about the Mark of the Vampire or if I'm being too tough on it. Don't forget, paid members are getting bonus videos, pictures, and more. We just had a member meetup over Zoom. So much fun. If you love these Universal and classic horror deep dives, make sure you're subscribed, hit the like button and the notification bell so you never miss a video. Share this video with somebody who doesn't yet know the difference between Count Dracula and Count Mora. And thank you so much for watching. Bye.